Welcome to Hope Springs Eternal, where we're having positive conversations about the United Methodist Church. Today we're speaking with Reverend Lindsey Freeman, who is an ordained elder in the United Methodist Church, currently serving in Virginia. Over the past 11 years, she has served in the local church, campus ministry, and in the Center for Clergy Excellence. When it comes to ministry, Lindsey is passionate about crafting worship experience for folks to encounter the holy and connecting folks in light of their gifts, preaching, teaching, and being in mission with the community. We hope this conversation blesses you as we continue to have positive conversations about the United Methodist Church. Thank you so much for joining us today. Today we have Reverend Lindsey Freeman, and we're just so happy to have her with us. Thank you so much, Lindsey, for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
So I'll just kind of get started. Just tell me briefly about your call to ministry and how you became a part of the United Methodist Church.
Sure. The joke in our family is that I'm the only cradle Methodist. My parents both grew up Baptist. And when I came on the scene, my dad was serving a Methodist church in music ministry. And so I've known nothing else, nothing different. So I've been a part of United Methodist congregations my whole life. And as you can imagine, deeply formed by them. And by the people serving in those churches. And so my call to ministry, I would say first as a lay person, came from several people speaking into my life and encouraging leadership and participation, from children's choir up through youth group, right? But I think the shift to a call to ordained ministry happened when I was a teenager. And it was kind of this coming together of participation in my local church and on my district, but also participation in mission and ministry here in Virginia, and serving and learning what it means to serve one another and to love our neighbor.
Thank you so much. Now, you're talking about loving our neighbors. So kind of let's branch on just love a little more, and just tell me, why do you love the United Methodist Church, and why are you choosing to stay?
Yeah, I do love the United Methodist Church. Even in the midst of all of our stuff, I deeply love this church and I deeply love the people called Methodists. Some of the things that I really love is how we have a strong emphasis on how God's grace is given freely to us, comes before us, transforms us, and sustains us. I think the ways that we talk about God's grace is really an opportunity to transform lives. I love our open table for communion, that all are welcome, no matter where they've come from or where they're going, that they can encounter Christ at the table. I love our emphasis on mission, and not just in the US context, but around the world. And, so often people who are not Methodist will say, gosh, UMCOR is a first responder, right? And I think our devotion to mission and service is huge. And then I would say our commitment in making disciples, especially through education around the world, is just amazing. And I'm honored to be a part of it. And I think in the past couple of years, and even a little looking further back, I remain United Methodist for those things. And, part of it is I've made a commitment to serve the church as an ordained person in this denomination. And so I remain in that truth as well. But, as I think about it, as we approach the General Conference and more changes are happening, I think the reason that I remain is that I believe still in our mission, that we can transform and make disciples of Jesus Christ so that the world would be transformed. And I think that I want to be a part of that energy and that mission and that leadership movement of the Methodist Church, as we seek ultimately that more people would know Jesus. And I think that we are a great entity doing that important work in the world.
As we are continuing to move towards General Conference and just, potential changes that could happen, what is your hope for the future of the United Methodist Church?
Oh, I hope that we would remember the rules to do good, do no harm, and attend to the ordinances of God, or some people say stay in love with God. I I think as we approach General Conference, the do no harm resonates, that we would remember the greatest commandment to love God and love our neighbor as we love ourselves. And I really hope for just a renewed sense of how we got started as a grassroots movement, and that creativity and adaptability and these different strengths that are a part of our tradition would come back to life again or be renewed, right? They've never been lost. But my hope is that we move forward, not just to say we separated, but we move forward so to continue telling God's story and to continue witnessing to Jesus in the world.
And as we move forward, I mean, I'm sure you've heard it in your conference as well as I've heard it in mine, just a lot of just heartache and just grief going on. If a clergy person or a laity person came to you today and said, I am so discouraged, what would be one word or maybe several points in one word of
Sure.
advice that you would give to
Mm.
somebody to encourage them during this time?
Faith. I think that's what I would tell them. Keep the faith, stay grounded in spiritual discipline, stay connected with a worshiping community, keep serving, keep loving one another, and keep the faith. Because that doesn't say that we have to discredit any grief or any hardship, because it is hard. It is a difficult season in the life of our church, and we have the opportunity to keep the faith and keep moving.
Thank you so much for joining us today, Lindsey. And thank you, those who watched. And I hope that this conversation blessed you as much as it blessed me. Thank you again, Lindsey.
You're welcome. Thanks so much.